Today is part 2 of international trade and finance, or international economics, and we want to start with the definition of terms of trade. I believe it's a term you've heard before. I would like to explain it with a calculation for you to understand very well. Assuming that the price of cocoa is 1000 Ghana cedis per 100 kilogram bag, and that of computers is 500 Ghana cedis per piece. Then the terms of trade is given as follows: the price of cocoa divided by the price of computer, so it's 2. How do we interpret this answer? This means that every 100 kilogram bag of cocoa can bring to a country like Ghana 2 computers. You can see that the amount of goods that a country in question can import depends on the terms of trade. So for instance, if you have a terms of trade to be 2, it means that if you export one of your commodity, it can bring 2 of the other commodity you are importing. So if your terms of trade is bad, it means you can bring less but you export more. If your terms of trade is good, it means you can export less and bring more. If the price of cocoa doubles to 2000, that is from 1000 to 2000 per 100 kilogram bag, then the country can import 4. Our terms of trade will change to 4. So that means with exporting 100 kilogram bag of cocoa, we can import 4 computers from the same 100 kilogram bag of cocoa. This is why the terms of trade this is why the terms of trade of a country is very important in international trade. If a country does not need 4 computers, then it cannot begin to build it can decide to build her reserves. For instance, if your terms of trade is very favorable but you don't need the other commodity from the other country, what you can do is, as you sell your commodities, the foreign currency you get, you save it, and it is called foreign reserve. So let's define terms of trade. Terms of trade refers to the relative price of exports in terms of imports, and is defined as the ratio of export prices to import prices. And this is the illustration we have given in the calculation. So typically, terms of trade has a particular formula, and this is the formula: index of export prices divided by index of import prices times 100. The reason why we use index of export prices and index of import prices is you cannot go around and count all the prices of all export products, then go around count the prices of all import products. So what we do is we sum up, we find a basket of export products and then find an index for their prices, and also same for the index of same for the import prices. So that is the terms of trade. Anytime you calculate terms of trade and you get you use this formula, you calculate terms of trade and you get an answer greater than 100, that means your country has a favorable terms of trade. On the other hand, if you calculate terms of trade and you get a figure less than 100, it means that your country has an unfavorable terms of trade. Right. Okay, so we want to continue. Balance of payment. This is also a very important term in international trade. Balance of payment. Balance of payment is a periodic statement usually prepared over a period of 1 year. It's a periodic statement of money value of all transactions between economic agents in one country and other economic agents of all other countries in the world. So it is a financial statement showing the money values of all transactions between people within this country and other people in other countries. Just as countries account for their levels of production by calculating gross domestic product, records are kept for international trade using balance of payment. Balance of payment therefore provide information of a country's imports and exports, remittances, earnings on assets abroad like foreign bonds, transactions in monetary assets, and official transactions by governments and central banks. It can also be defined as a statement of account that shows the records of all economic and monetary transactions between one country and the rest of the world. So this is a typical balance of payment account for the year 2010. As you can see, we have the current account, and in the current account we have the merchandise export, we have cocoa and beans product of Ghana, cocoa and beans products gold, we have timber, oil, others, blah 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 blah. And also aside the current account, we have, so in the current account we also have the oil and non-oil imports, and we have the trade balance, services, receipts, payments, income, receipts, payments, current transfers, official reserves. Okay, so we have the current transfers, we have the official, private, services, income, and current account transfers. Aside the current account, we have capital account, capital and financial account. Under the capital account, we have capital transfers and financial account. Then we have direct investment, portfolio investment, other investment, official capital. So we have all these factor into a country's balance of payment, which is a monetary financial statement. Then we have financing, changes in international reserves. Normally, when the balance of payment is like a balance sheet as you do in accounting, it must always balance. So if it is not balancing, that is where we find the error. Probably in accounting for the balance of payment, there were some errors in it. We try to find the error. It's also called the statistical discrepancy. And still, if it is not balancing, then we will resort to financing money to offset the imbalance. So this is a typical balance of payment. The source is Bank of Ghana. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is exchange rate. An exchange rate can be defined as the price of a nation's currency in terms of another